Hello, 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 ladies out there on Facebook. I have a friend joining me right now, Melissa Deely. She is here, and we are talking about, are your hormones driving you crazy? And Melissa has a workshop coming up in just a few days on the 19th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll repeat that again. But all of you out there that I hear this all the time, I have night sweats. I get these hot flashes. I feel depressed. What are some other symptoms, Melissa, that it's hormonal, right? That it's a
It's
hormone issue.
it's absolutely all hormonal. And some of them are ones that make us, our enjoyment of sex to not be as enjoyable, like vaginal dryness, or just, it makes it painful. And then, well, that's no fun, right? Or even just a lower libido. And then
Right.
that starts to impact, our relationships as well.
Yes. Weight gain. That's a big one. Weight
Another
gain.
one, yes,
Yeah.
weight gain,
Yeah.
disturbed sleep. And then we
Yeah.
get into the irritability and bloating too, right? We that
Yeah.
might be thinking, okay, that's got to be due to food, but it isn't just due to food, right? We're all interconnected. And so our what's happening in our gut can be
Hmm.
impacting our hormones and vice versa. And that's
Yeah.
something that I'll definitely be diving into in the workshop so people understand this. I have pages of different symptoms.
So I'm a
The next
storyteller.
page too.
So every single person out there listening right now, buckle in, because I'm going to tell you a quick story, and everyone loves to hear stories. So I met Melissa probably a year and a half, 2 years ago, and she got me to, kept asking me about my health. I care so much about my health. So I started, working with her. I did a quiz to find out that I was actually way off in my numbers. I thought, oh, I got an 85. That must be good. What if you're under 100? You're amazing. She's like, no, if you're under 25. I was a personal trainer. All my friends out there that know me right now are like, Colleen's the healthiest person I know. What are you talking about? Right. Well, come to find out, ladies, what's going on in your body is something that we need to pay closer attention to, because we think we're healthy. But when you dial down and start looking at labs and the things that really matter, you're not. Like, I had no idea I was allergic to pineapple or eggs. Love pineapple. I don't eat eggs a lot, but I love eggs. So if I eat them in very small quantities once a week or something, I'm fine. I knew milk, lactose, all of that. But I didn't know about pineapple, and I didn't know about eggs. So I do these labs with Melissa. She's like, your hormones look really good. And I was like, I've gained some weight, not normal. And, my energy isn't as high. Come to find out, my activity wasn't that high either. So COVID kind of took a toll on that. But I was getting like hot flashes at night, and she looked at my hormones, and she was like, these look really good in range. So there were a few things I needed to do. My weight was, a lot of it was my cortisol levels were climbing. And when she said to, have a shake in the morning, because I was like not eating until later. I would eat like once or twice a day, but I didn't start eating until like 3 in the afternoon. So my body was storing fat. And that's why I was getting the fat like around my waist, right? Storing that fat. And so just by doing the shakes, I didn't have to work out or do any extra activity, but they dropped my cortisol levels so my body wouldn't harbor all the fat. And so she told me, all these things. Then one of my clients said, oh yeah, I went to a hormone place. My daughter had gone there. They'd given them little pellets. They're like, oh my gosh, I dropped so much weight so fast. And come to find out my hormones were off. Now, Melissa told me my hormones weren't off. Okay. But I was like, I'm just going to go there anyway, because they said lose weight fast. Someone says lose weight fast. Colleen's like, on the train. That's where I go. So I went there, and she did my levels, and they were exactly what Melissa told me they were. And she's like, well, they're not, they're good. We like to see this higher. We like to see this lower. But they're in range, right? And she said, yeah. I said, so what happens if my testosterone goes up, or my estrogen, or there's like 1,000 of them. I don't know how to say them all. So she told me, here's this list of side effects that could happen. It's not that bad. Here was like 8 things that could happen. And I was like, I don't want to have headaches. I don't want to have soreness. I don't want to have any moody, nothing, right? I don't want to have night sweats. I'm already dealing with getting rid of them, which the shakes helped a ton. The detox helped a ton. So I finally, after sitting there for an hour, say yes to her. And I spent all this money, got all these shots. I have to give myself a shot. I tell Melissa, because I'm working with her, and later on I say, well, I'm on these shots. She's like, why are you on these shots? Well, because my friend told me that I should go to this hormone place and that she got on it, lost all this weight. Now, again, I don't know what her hormones were, if they were high or low or what she did, but I knew that mine were fine. I was just kind of looking for like, maybe it would help me lose weight. I got all 8 symptoms: moody, headaches, breast tenderness. I felt like crap. Not even a week in, I called Melissa and I'm like, oh my gosh, all this stuff's happening. She's like, there's nothing. Your hormones are great. I don't know why you're doing all this. I threw it all away. All that money I wasted, but that's me. I have to spend all this money to figure it out. So I go back to Melissa could have said, I told you so, but she didn't, because she's just that kind person. But everything I had done to work with Melissa up to that point, everything she educated on me was correct. I was still thinking that I had something or looking for some quick, weight loss fix that didn't work for me. And it actually made my body, it threw my body off. I had too much testosterone, too much of these other things in my body that caused all these issues for me. They even said you might start bleeding again. Oh, are you kidding me? That happens. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm bringing this story up because we all love stories, and B, it just goes to show how stupid I was to think that I knew more than what Melissa knew about hormones or my labs that we read or anything going in my body, that I would go to this other place. So ladies, I'm going to just ask you this question. Are you struggling with any of the stuff I just talked about, right? Headaches, night flashes, trouble sleeping? You know that it's something happening because you're getting older. And before I met Melissa, I thought it was aging. And I thought, okay, well, I age. These things happen when I age. It's part of life. Melissa said, it's not part of life, and you don't have to put up with them when you age. And I was like, okay, now you've got my attention. How do I stop the aging process? So hormones have a lot to do with that, don't they, Melissa?
They absolutely do. And the point that you're right about is that as we go through life, our hormones do change, right? But we haven't been taught, especially about menopause, because there isn't a easy venue to teach all women about this, right? School, we learn about puberty, but where do we learn about menopause? We don't. We learn about it by talking to our mothers, our aunts, our sisters, our friends. And then whatever their experience is, we expect to be ours. But first of all, we are all different. So their experience could be very different to ours. Mm-hmm. But what ends up happening is we normalize the symptoms, as you said, as aging and normal, and having to suffer through them as part of being a woman. And that's what I want to share with people is we do not have to suffer through. We can do something about them. We can absolutely eliminate them by rebalancing the hormones, and then the symptoms go away. And that's really powerful. It's my story as well. I've struggled with hormonal migraines since I was 18. And I share that story in the workshop, that it's not just me, preaching, it's me sharing my experience. Because as you say, people love storytelling, right? And then all of the other women that, including yourself, that I've guided through. And when we know what's going on inside our body, we truly know, then we know exactly what to do about it. We can stop guessing and we can step into action, right? And when we know sooner rather than later, then we just get to do something about it sooner and more quickly, because we're less out of balance. We haven't gone quite so far away from that center line, so we can come back into balance more quickly as well. So I just want people to know this is possible and that we don't have to suffer. Our bodies are incredible.
Yeah.
We were never meant to suffer. But modern life has us suffering because it's modern life that is triggering our hormones to get out of balance in many cases. Mm-hmm. And that's also what I will be sharing in the workshop, because it's important people understand this. It's not your fault. This is how it happens, because then you also know what you can do or habits you might change in order to stop it from happening.
That's right. That's right. And so I share this with everyone I run into. I refer everybody I know to Melissa because I don't do doctors. Many of you know that. I don't like going to the doctors. And I wouldn't say that I'm like all Eastern medicine, but pretty dang close because I know that there's my body's never felt this healthy. I just was sharing this with Melissa the other day. I feel younger, I feel stronger, and I do my own tests. I just do labs. I have them sent to my house. I work with Melissa. She reads them for me. I do everything, send them in. And she's able to tell me exactly what supplement I need to take, what I need to do, how I need to do it, that changes my balances. And I never have to go to a doctor because the doctors don't look for the numbers through like, I don't know how to explain it, Melissa. They look for averages and you have to fall into this average. Like I'm not average. Do you know that my average for my height, I'm supposed to weigh 125 is like the average? I've like never donated blood in my life because I've never even weighed enough to donate. So they always tell me I'm too thin, you're below average, you're this, you're like all the scarcity of me. And I'm like, I'm the healthiest person ever. What do you mean I'm too skinny? I'm not, right? But I've never fit on the curve.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what it is that there's, and first of all, the labs that I offer are completely different to the labs that the doctor's office runs anyway, right? So it's just a different way of looking at what's going on inside your body that is very much more targeted at where are the deficiencies, what are your mineral deficiencies, your vitamin deficiencies, where are your hormonal imbalances, and using saliva for hormones, because that's the best way to assess it rather than the doctor's office is using blood for everything. And then our ranges are narrower. And they're narrower because we're looking for optimizing your health, not just having you, not be sick, right?
Fit into an average, which I don't. So if I fit into an average, that could be like, I could not feel good at that average. Yeah,
exactly. And I've had that experience myself with, some of those labs through the doctor. My white blood cell count is always very low.
Yeah.
But I never get sick, right? And so that's just me and my body. And those labs don't factor that in unless you have a doctor that's willing to work with you and run those labs, every 3 months for a couple of years to determine what is your baseline average, right?
Yeah. And I'm actually really excited because I'm due for labs again. And I know that sounds so weird because I never wanted to go to the doctor and get blood drawn or anything, but I can prick my finger at home and do it on my time and do the saliva. And I'm ready for the labs again. And Melissa and I have been talking about me doing them because now I want to see how far I've come from the last year that I did labs. I've never wanted to go to the doctors to do labs, but I'm excited about this to see like, hey, can I get off some of these supplements now? How is my body responding? Because I feel great. I feel good. And I'm one of those that follows the protocol when someone tells me what to do and I'm feeling good on the protocol. So ladies, if you are struggling with symptoms we've talked about and you don't know why, or you think it's hormones. Every time I talk to a female, she's like, my hormones. And she's like, oh my God, I have another half-life. It's my hormones. That's all you hear from them. I'm like, if you have that, come to this free workshop. It's a free workshop at 3:00 on May 19th for the Pacific. So here in Arizona, if you're East Coast, it's at 6, which means, Central to 5. So come and attend this. Just sit in on the workshop, get some information so you can understand a little bit better. Are you suffering from something that's truly a hormonal issue, or could it be something else? The world treats symptoms. Not this lady, not Melissa. It's not about the symptom. It's about the root cause. If you don't get to the root of what's happening, it's like trying to grow a tree in your backyard. And yet there's something going on in the soil with the roots, but you're treating the leaf on the tree. The leaf is not going to fix the root system of the tree. We got to get in and really dig in to find out what's wrong. So stop suffering, ladies. There's no need to suffer anymore because I feel great. And I can't tell you that everyone around me says that when I'm around them. And every woman I know that isn't on some type of protocol or knows her numbers is suffering from some symptom. And it's wrong. We shouldn't have to suffer.
We absolutely shouldn't have to suffer. And so join me at the workshop. And I would love to share how our hormones get out of balance and then what you can do about it so that you can put an end to your suffering.
Nice. Melissa's like one of the smartest ladies I know. So I trust her 1,000%. And so you're getting the recommendation and the referral from me to go to this workshop, you guys. So click on the link. It's right there at your fingertips in the description. And I want you to show up. Just go for yourself. Do yourself a favor and educate yourself a little bit more on hormones so that you know that you don't have to live the way that you've been living. You can end this. How great is that? Thanks, Melissa. I'll see you on May 19th.
Thanks, Colleen.
All right. Bye, everybody. Have a
Take care.
wonderful day. See
Bye.
ya. Bye.